Welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Knows podcasting network. In the ring with Jimmy, Rod, and Crippler. Crippler, welcome back, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Awesome,
That's right.
Rod. What are you hot about today, bud?
Well, first off, I'm hot that our guy, our number one fan, our long lost fourth chair, Big Mark Allen, the Crippler, is coming back, and I'm excited to hear a few of the stories he's going to spin for us here because we've been teased with a couple of things that I'm interested to hear the conclusion of.
Okay, so let's kind of give our listeners a little inside peek here. So, Crippler, you did security at SummerSlam in Cleveland. How did you get that gig?
Well, that is correct. I did do security at SummerSlam at First Energy Stadium. I got that job through my daytime job, which is working for Cleveland Municipal Court. And then this is about 11, 12 years ago. Some police friends of one of my superiors said, hey, we need people. And he got me involved, and I've been doing it ever since.
So I guess my question always is getting in there and everything like that. How long was your day that day?
14 hours.
A 14-hour day. Which areas did you oversee? Where were you in the stadium?
Originally, I was right behind Gorilla.
Oh my God.
That was my favorite because I did get to see every wrestler walk in, with the exception of the OTC and the Wise Man. Then right
the
before,
OTC is this? Have we decided he's the OTC now? We're not calling him anything else other than the OTC. I didn't get that memo, Crippler.
Hey, I'm just going off of his shirt that he pointed to menacingly, looking at Cody.
He knows how to move merch.
Hey, he's the needle mover.
That's right.
Yes, he is.
Then right before show started, the WWE head of security, who actually kind of looks like Baz Rutten from UFC, asked me to come over right at the beginning of the Browns team tunnel and said, hey, check credentials, people coming off the field. And right at the end of the team tunnel was about maybe 30 to 40 feet from where they were coming out into the field to go to the ring.
Oh, okay. So let's get into it here.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me ask one quick question about Gorilla. All right. Like when you first got to the Gorilla. All right. I mean, this is like, if there's such a thing as an altar other than the ring to us professional wrestling fans, right? It's Gorilla back there. That's where the decisions are made. That's where Hunter's on the headset. You know what I mean? Like that's the nerve center. Like, so when you walked up to Gorilla, I understand that nothing was happening at that moment, but did you still sort of get chills, right? Kind of like walking onto the Field of Dreams in Iowa, right? You're at Gorilla.
I felt like, you know how when The Rock comes out, he points to his forearm with all the goosebumps? I felt like that.
That's awesome. You sent us a picture. We have a little group wrestling thread there with you and then me, Jimmy and Chris, and you sent us a picture of Gorilla, and I was instantly I was so jealous at that point, Crippler. I'm not often jealous of you, my man, because I don't know that I would love living in Ohio as much as you do, but I was definitely jealous that day.
Speaking of The Rock, you're breaking news. The Rock was at SummerSlam?
That's what I was told. One of my other coworkers was supposed to be walking him around.
Oh,
and being his personal security person. He never came back downstairs. His mom was there because his mom was also at SummerSlam.
Okay,
or not SummerSlam, SmackDown.
Okay.
Well, I mean, he is a board member. You know, I mean, he could have just been sitting up in like the owner's box, so to speak. You know, what I mean, it could have just been that situation.
He probably was.
All right, so then you said you heard The Rock was there. Let's get into who you ran into, all right? Because, you know, certainly you saw almost everybody, but who did you have what could be qualified as an interaction with?
Well, when Damian Priest was walking in, one of my coworkers who was standing behind me, not familiar with the wrestlers, goes, is he a wrestler? And I politely said to her, that is El Campeon. Priest heard me, looked over, gave me a smile and a head nod like, that's right. So I had some interaction there. Had some interaction with Mr. Aldis, who walked past me. I said, "Good morning. Have a good day." He stopped, walked 2 steps back, shook my hand, and said, "Thank you. You also," in his little British type accent, and then went away.
Did he look? Did he look resplendent? Did he look like $1 million in a suit, or was he wearing like athleisure at that point?
He did not have a suit jacket on. He was just looking completely buff in a shirt that looked too small for him.
Well, some of us always wear shirts that are too small, but for other reasons.
Yeah.
So you in the text thread, Crippler, you said the Steiner brothers are here. The next text, got a good story for you. Tell you later. And I said, save it for the pod. So what is that story?
Well, they were trying to get out to the field, and there was also another security guard I work with behind me. And he wasn't letting them pass because they didn't have credentials. So I turn around because I hear voices. I'm talking
in your head.
Yes. Yeah, they come
they
to me.
Counsel you? Do they understand?
Yes.
Oh.
Just like Mr. Orton. But I was hearing the voices behind me. I'm like, what's going on? I turn around and it's Rick and Scott Steiner being stopped by my coworker. And I kind of talk a little loud and say, hey, those guys are good. They are the best tag team ever. They are WWE Hall of Famers.
Yes.
He's like, well, they don't have credentials. I'm like, I'm sure the WWE is not going to mind if those two walk out to the field. And so he's like, okay. I'm like, I will take the hit if somebody complains.
Okay.
The Steiners are walking past me. Scott gives me one of those bro hugs, slaps hand, give me a bro hug, pats my back, which almost hurt because, he's still a little strong. And then Rick comes up. He's, does the same thing. He's like, hey, thanks, appreciate it. He's like, hey, what's that guy's problem? I'm like, he just does not know whatever. He just doesn't know. I said,
you know what I hear from this story? I hear the WWE needs a Hall of Fame jacket, right? You get a gold jacket if you are a Hall of Fame member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, right? So if the Steiner brothers had the proper jacket for their recent induction into the Hall of Fame, Mr. Security Guard, who was doing his job, we're not trying to put him down. He's doing hard work. They told him don't let anybody in without credentials. He didn't. We wish that every security guard was into wrestling like we were, because we wish the whole world was into wrestling, but we all understand that certain folks are. So that's all right. But I'm glad that you were there, Crippler, to right the wrong. That's great. Absolutely. To have a story about the Steiner brothers, but you also told us that you had a story about another tag team that I would much rather talk about than the Steiner brothers. You know who I'm leading to. My guys.
Yes, boy.
That's right. Pretty Deadly. Come on, tell me, were they just as beautiful in person as they are on camera?
Gorgeous.
Yes, they are.
Simply gorgeous. That would be their next name if they ever get rid of Pretty Deadly. Just Simply Gorgeous.
When they go to the Federation after getting fired. Thanks.
Stop it. Stop it. They're going to be WWE Tag Team Champions in no time. You stop it.
Well, hopefully. But they were walking and I said, hey, what's going on, fellas? They're like, they give me the wave, the typical acknowledgement and all that. And I'm like, yes, boy. And they just look at me. They smiled like, that's right. And all that. Then when they left, because they didn't stay the entire show.
Okay.
And they were hanging around with.
They only had to come in and help tear tickets, and then their job was done for the night. So
yeah,
help tear tickets.
They were with Tyler Breeze, who I kind of didn't recognize without Fandango, but that's another story. But
did they give you a yes, boy? That's what I want to know.
Yes,
did they give you a yes?
I look at them, I'm smiling, and I'm pointing at them, I'm like, there we go. As they're leaving, they're like, yes, boy. And then they wheeled their suitcases right on out.
That's kind of cool.
And then they hopped on a unicorn and flew away.
They did. Speaking of unicorns, we had a unicorn of a cell job by Austin Theory.
Yes.
One of the most amazing cell jobs ever.
Oh my
and you said you had a little story about Austin Theory as well?
I actually got to see Hunter, Theory, Jelly Roll, Waller, all practicing that choke slam.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
They were obviously it was before
Where
gates
was it?
opened.
Before? Okay.
Yeah, it was before gates opened. They were actually in the ring, and I walk out and I see Theory just jumping straight up in the air. I'm like, what is he doing? Then I see, Triple H in the background because you can't miss him. And then you see Jelly Roll, who's blocks out Triple H when he stood in front of him.
Also hard to miss Jelly Roll.
That is true.
Not easy. But he did sneak in the ring, though. He did sneak in the ring.
Yeah. And then, you see Triple H showing Jelly Roll the whole, the whole moves, what to do here, what to do there. And then as they're practicing it, you see Jelly Roll in front of Theory, and Theory's just jumping up like he's trying to grab a rebound.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to see him practice that whole thing. I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Any other practices that you got to see beforehand?
Not in the ring. I saw all of them. Well, some of them go out to the ring for practice, like Nia and Punk, Gunther. I got to see them go out to practice, but never saw them practice.
Okay. Speaking of Punk, you did mention Rod did not have the best of weekends. Okay. Bad weekend for Rod. Two things. You said you had a good story about Punk and any Seth Rollins interaction at all.
I was a little disappointed in the fact with Mr. Rollins when, I gave him his due. I said, Mr. Rollins, hello, how you doing? Welcome to Cleveland. He just kind of tilted his head and went, eh, and then kept walking. Like, dude, okay. Maybe you got something else on your mind. That's okay.
Wait a minute. Listen, we're talking about a man who has never performed as a WWE official before, okay? And any person that does something for the first time, if they're doing it right, they're going to be a little nervous, a little anxious, and a little intrepidatious about how they may perform later that evening. So I don't appreciate you, sir, coming on here speaking illy of the visionary, the revolutionary, when probably all he was doing was in his head thinking about all the different rules that they were going to have to follow in the Seth Rollins rule match. Okay, honestly, some grace here, Crippler.
Intrepidatious? Did you just make that up?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Jimmy doesn't like to call me out for my made-up words. That's why he's a great podcast host. Now, listen, let's get to the piece de resistance here, Crippler. All right, we've messed around long enough. Okay, Rhea Ripley and you, I'm told, had maybe the best interaction of the day. So my question is, did you actually in some way, shape, or form help ferment the Rhea Dom breakup? Were you involved somehow? Were you an outside agitator? Was your interaction with Rhea what finally pushed her over the edge? Speak to it.
I would love to say absolutely it was 100% my fault, but no, I had nothing to do with that. In fact, Dom wasn't even walking in with her when she walked in.
He was too busy in the back eating tendies and playing video games, I believe.
Probably. My first interaction with her, she was walking in, again, walked past Gorilla where I was. I said, hi, Rhea, how you doing? And she did she turned, smiled, which, by the way, Rhea, without all her makeup on, is one of the most beautiful females I have ever seen live in person.
Wow.
In my life.
Yeah, you see like pictures of Rhea first coming up, right? And like you see her now, you almost don't think they're the same person.
Right. And she did the old, like when she's about ready to headbutt somebody, how she does the little finger wave. She did that and said, hello, lovey. So that's when I put on the text, total fanboy moment.
You haven't slept in a week, have you?
Nope. Nah, no. I'm still high on adrenaline for that. And the next moment, which was my favorite moment, is after the show was over, they didn't need me checking credentials anymore. So I went back behind Gorilla to facilitate people moving along, not harassing people or gathering around so the flow could keep going. About maybe 15, 20 minutes after the show had ended, Rhea's walking out with Bayley. They stop because Bayley starts talking to somebody, and they all start having a conversation, and Rhea makes a comment about she all she wanted was one bracelet. She didn't have any, and all of a sudden, both wrists look like they're covered in bracelets. Okay, so I had my little rubber bracelets on, and I pulled one off. It was a bright orange one. I gave it to her and said, "Here for you. You keep it." She's like, "Oh, what's this?" She's like, "What does this say?" And she read it. She looked at me. She's like, "I love it." And she put it on, and she gave me kind of one of those side hugs. And I'm like, "Okay, another fanboy moment." So the bracelet said, "Blank around and find out."
Hey,
So I think that's kind of why she said she loved it. So if in going forward, if you ever see her wearing an orange wristband with white writing, that's me.
look at the Crippler giving gifts to Rhea Ripley, keeping the wrestler safe, checking out Gorilla. My man, that is some wonderful, wonderful stuff.
And I have a story I didn't tell you about from Rod, your girl, Tiffany Stratton.
Ooh,
Okay.
you know what? Listen, we have more time for you to come back on the podcast. We can recount the Tiffany Stratton story, perhaps when she wins the championship from Nia Jax and cashes in her briefcase. Then we can have the Tiffany Stratton story.
Actually, it involves Nia Jax.
Of course, it does. Everything.
And
involves
with
Nia
that
Jax.
cliffhanger, you've been listening to the Crippler interview on the Yeah We Know podcast. I think we need to bring in the man they call Chris King and kick the Crippler out right now.
Do we have to?
It's in his contract. You get paid?
Yeah.
And welcome back to the Yeah We Know podcast. We kicked Crippler out. Chris is in. Thank goodness. Crippler.
Thank goodness. Do we really want to go with thank goodness, Jim? I mean, is goodness really what we feel about Chris really to come in here and yell at us
that
about
Rhea
how Drew
Ripley
McIntyre...
story? That Rhea Ripley story was a little weird, dude. He was like a little too happy. He needed to go be by himself for a little bit, I think.
It's true.
That person that you can't see but you can hear is Hot Rod. Rod is here with us as well, of course, and Chris King. Not too much to talk about because we already had a first half of the show, but I do want to talk about something here, Rod. You're wearing a John Cena hoodie. Let's do a little bit of future casting. Rod,
my favorite.
John Cena is going to be all over the WWE in 2025, something we've kind of forgotten about over the last couple of weeks. What's the plan that you have for John Cena?
Well, I mean, let's first dispatch with the whole, wouldn't it be great if Cena was evil for his end? We're just not going to go there, right? There's just no way that
I don't think he's going to. I don't.
Yeah. There's just no way that he's going to go evil on anybody. So like, let's just cut out any one of those, right? We've seen our guy Cody Rhodes with many of his matches recently where he's I have respect for you, you have respect for me. Let's just solve it in the ring. So we could do that. That'd be a certain great notch on Cody's resume, right? A win over John Cena at a major wrestling event. But that's not what I want to do. That's not what I want to do. What I think they're going to do with John Cena is I think Triple H is a guy who tells long-term stories. I think he wants to bring somebody up with this John Cena end. I think John Cena wants to bring somebody up with this end. I give you, Jimmy, Austin Theory. That's what I think we should do a story with. We've got the WrestleMania match. He lost to Austin Theory at a WrestleMania. Sure, he lost to Solo Sikoa, but Bloodline, come on. They've got so many other things to do. We don't need to bring John Cena back into the Bloodline. Give me Austin Theory. The man can sell. The man has charisma. He's got to hopefully be something. We've got so many plus 40 going on 50-year-old guys involved in the big storylines these days. We need Austin Theory. John Cena can bring him up.
See, I think Theory had a shot, Chris. I think he had a shot, and he's going to be this middling mid-carder for most of the rest of his career. Yeah, he'll get some championship matches here and there, but I don't see that happening, Chris.
No, what I would more prefer, if you're not going to, I mean, you could do something with Sikoa. I think Rod's right, though. think with Solo right now, he has plenty of stuff to keep him busy. But you do something like if he's coming back soon, you have him come in as an enforcer for Pierce or whoever, and put a stop to somebody like Bronson Reed or Braun Strowman from wrecking havoc across the backstage locker room and everywhere else. Have him come in as an enforcer. That's why he's still a good guy. He's still going to be a face, but he's actually able to go out and smash some heads in.
So I think you have to kind of build Cena up a little bit because he's been on a little bit of a losing streak here. So a Bronson Reed, him beating Bronson Reed would also elevate Reed a little bit, something like that. I was going to go there as well, but then you have your Braun Breaker. That is always somebody that he can feud with and elevate him more. Your not Walter, Gunther. Your Gunther as well. That's another
I worry
person.
about that one though, Jim, because I don't know that they want to get to 17, right? Like I don't know that they want to get to 17, and clearly we're going to see some Cena W's on the way out, and I just don't think they want to get to 17. Do you?
No, I don't think so either. I think Gunther would win that battle. I would have said Damian Priest would be someone good, but he's kind of going more face. Maybe that's somebody that they bring in to help, not in the new Judgment Day, but team, maybe.
What if my guy comes back from his hiatus of the Bronson Reed and he goes heel? What if my guy goes heel? Could we see the Visionary, the Revolutionary, the Monday Night Messiah? Could we see him and Cena feuding, or have they already had a bunch of matches?
I'm here every day, week in and week out for the past 5 years, and you come and go as you please. I mean, that writes itself. It does.
Exactly. Chris, I mean, I know you're not a huge Seth Rollins guy because you think I talk about him too much, but I think you talk about Drew McIntyre too much. So, I mean, que sera, sera.
Yeah, but I don't think you need a Rollins versus Cena rivalry. Like, if you're trying to have Cena bring somebody up, Rollins isn't that type of rivalry.
That's true.
Maybe that's the swan song on his way out or something like that, depending on if Rollins has a belt at that point in time or something like that.
You know what? They could bring, who they could bring up through the main roster after Royal Rumble? Joe Hendry might be someone they bring up to then and get the rub from Cena there. I just thought of that. That might be someone you could, because I think a Dragunov match would be kind of cool, just so random. But Joe Hendry he's already got a cult following.
Oh, he does.
He's coming out at the Rumble. He will be at the Royal Rumble. There's no question about it. Think of him and Cena maybe doing something together. That could be interesting.
Yeah, I don't want to see Cena in the ring with somebody who's a great tactician, right? Because Cena just isn't that anymore. So we got to get somebody who's going to be willing to play the match out with him. But I also think what we got to think about here is Chris is right. I do want to see somebody brought up, but I think we're going to see multiple Cena story arcs, right? Like I think we're going to see him be on a story arc where somebody gets lifted up. But then I think his swan song match, Chris, like you were saying, like when we really get to the end, when they bill it as the final match, I'd hope that that's going to be against somebody who's got a huge name. You know what I mean? So like that's where I would see a Seth
Pete
Rollins
Dunne,
there.
if you will.
Oh, there we go.
No, I mean,
Jimmy, that's what you want to talk about next, isn't it? That's why you brought up Pete Dunne.
No, not at all.
Don't call him Butch.
No, don't. Do not call him Butch. Heel 101. I mean, it's eaten out of the palm of his hand. I love it. It's fantastic. One thing we do need to talk about too, because I know we are running short on time, mostly because the producer's family says it's time to go. But the Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest angle, my son has talked about it nonstop just from watching YouTube clips. Now, there's probably some couple obvious reasons why he's watching a lot of those YouTube clips, which is perfectly fine with everyone. But gold, Jerry.
It's because he too likes chicken tendies, right, Jimmy? That's why
gold.
Like chicken tendies.
I apparently he just blanks around and finds out, if you will, going back to the Crippler. But I love everything about this. They're going to go right to the mixed tag like we talked about at Bash in Berlin. I think this is terrific, Rod. Chef's kiss to your namesake.
Yeah, it's a great time for that foursome there. And Liv Morgan, she's doing what she has to do, right? We've talked about it many times. She's not physically imposing as a Charlotte Flair, as a Nia Jax, as a Rhea Ripley, right? So she has to come up with other ways to be devious and seem like top of the card. And she does it every time, right? She does it every time. Shout out to her. And I think that the mixed tag team match is one thing. That's great. We're going to be able to tell the story there. What I wonder, Jim, is can we see Rhea Ripley pulling off something that only one other person in the history of the WWE has pulled off, and that would make her huge. And I believe, could we see Rhea Ripley become the Intercontinental Champion? Forget about the Women's Championship belt. Could we see Rhea Ripley be the Intercontinental Champion, or they just won't do intergender matches anymore?
I think that diminishes the women's division if we do that. Back when
Didn't they
China
already
was
do that by wiping them out for a year?
back when China did that, there was really, I mean, it was a divas division. There was no wrestling. China was the she would have killed everyone, right? I want the women's division to continue to thrive. And if the women's championship or the world women's championship aren't the pinnacle, then you're doing something wrong. So that's got to be the pinnacle, I would think. So and two, I don't think they're going to do too many intergender matches.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's like you gotta. I get what you're saying, that like that hurts the women's division, but in my opinion, they already did something similar with Rhea's run that she was on the entire last year, where like anytime she wrestled somebody, it was just a complete, walkover, and nobody ever challenged her, and the only reason she lost the belt is because she got hurt backstage. You know what I mean? Like they already kind of did that, in my opinion. But you're right, everything you said is right, and that's why you were sort of the expert of this podcast. Like Williams is our football expert. You're the one people should really listen to on the wrestling show. I'm just speaking nonsense over here.
Hey, Chris, give me an old man take to end things.
Okay, it's not really an old man take because it's just another fan take, but like, let's give it up for LA Knight again. All right. Release.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been a little bit more worried if Andrade had won that match against Escobar, but like, luckily we get Escobar. It's somebody LA Knight's handled before, so he should retain his title.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I was a little worried if it was going to be Andrade as well, because they're clearly trying to make Andrade something. I don't know how or what.
I wonder why.
Well, why do I like him? That's a mystery to the listeners.
I mean, you got to give it up. That was an exciting match between them, right?
He's incredible, dude. Every time,
right? Yeah.
Phenomenal in the ring. Like, give me more every night. I'll watch him. Let's
go. More Mr. Charlotte Flair is what Chris is saying, and I, for one, agree with him, which doesn't happen very often on the wrestling show.
And with that, you've been listening to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Know's Podcasting Network. You're in the ring with the Crippler, Rod and Chris.
Shout out to Mark Allen.
Goodbye, Net. Yeah.